Good morning. Welcome back to Heritage Hollow Homestead. I'm Amber, and this morning I am out here. It is early. It's before 8. I wanted to make sure I got out early to pick these greens so that they would be really fresh and crisp. Still have dew on them, so they'll be extra tasty. But I am harvesting collard greens. I'm also going to be harvesting from some of my turnip greens, as well as some Swiss chard, some really gorgeous rainbow Swiss chard, maybe a few other things too. So I thought I would take you along with me, show you how we harvest these, what I'll be leaving behind for a second harvest, and I will also be taking these in and canning them up. So I thought I would show you how we do that as well. Found a little friend, and he is doing a great job at eating my bugs. So I love having little froggies in my garden because they do such a great job at eating, there he went, at eating all my bugs. So they are waiting on any extra leaves to be thrown over the fence. So does anyone else out there like greens? What is your opinion of greens? I know that greens can be pretty gross if they are not seasoned well. So we use ham hock, bacon or bacon grease, onion, all sorts of really yummy seasonings mixed in, and that really gives it a really great flavor. But just alone, without any seasonings or any good stuff added to it, I'm actually not a fan. They have to be seasoned well for me to eat greens. So what you're going to see me harvesting here is collard greens. I will be harvesting turnip greens and Swiss chard as well, but I am harvesting the most of these collard greens because that is what I grew the most of. The reason why I chose to grow more collard greens than any other type of green is because they have proven in our garden to be the most bug resistant as far as cabbage moths especially, whereas some of my other ones especially turnip greens, get a lot of damage early on. So on these, it's early morning. I'm seeing a few snails and slugs, so these will have to be washed very well because you can get very sick and actually get parasites from some snail and slug eggs and such, which is really gross. So you're gonna make sure you wash these very, very, very well. Another reason why I'm picking these early this morning, and it's right at 8 o'clock I think, is because the earlier in the morning you harvest anything, the more nutrient dense it's going to be, and the crisper it's going to be. It's very cold out. These are going to retain if there's any sugars or anything in any of them. They're just going to taste better. They're actually going to be better for you because they're going to be more nutrient dense, being harvested early in the morning like this. And that I'm going to harvest them and then can them immediately so that I don't lose any of those vitamins and really important nutrients that I'm hoping to get from these to add to my winter diet. So I am definitely leaving some behind to continue growing. I'm only harvesting the biggest leaves. And this is just as simple to grow this type of greens as it is to grow leafy greens like your lettuces that I have over here. Here's a door opening. I didn't know if it was my kid. And a lot of people will say, I don't like any of the things that you grow in the fall. However, I would highly suggest that you grow a wide variety of vegetables, because you're going to need, you really need a well-rounded diet. And if you're growing your garden to actually eat healthier food, you're not going to want to only eat tomatoes and corn year round, so you really need to widen your horizons in the veggie department and grow lots of different crops, because each one of those crops is going to give you specific vitamins, nutrients, minerals, and those are going to be really important overall as you transition to trying to produce as much of your own food as possible. So, while a lot of people while this may not be my favorite thing in the entire world to eat, it is really good for you, and if you prepare it right, it will be pretty tasty. I also have growing here beside of me, I'll cut one off, lots of kale. This is so tasty mixed in with your normal salad greens. It's yet another example of something that people think is gross, but if you mix it in with what you are already eating, if you're a juicer or anything like that, kale is so easy to grow. Will grow all fall and sometimes into winter. Sometimes it even grows in the snow. So it is another really gorgeous and important plant to grow that's very easy to grow, that is very nutritious. And starting to grow really nutritious food in many different forms is going to make you much more efficient in your growing, because you're always going to have something available. And so I would highly encourage everyone to kind of step out of the box of just growing zucchini and tomatoes and start to grow a wide variety of different types of vegetables all year round. Use every single day of your growing season. Okay, so I'm going to come around here for just a moment and talk about another leafy green that I'm growing and going to be harvesting and adding in with my turnip greens and collard greens, and that is Swiss Chard. And this is a rainbow Swiss Chard. It's just a leafy green. A lot of people like to saute it, kind of, somewhat similar to how you would eat any other type of leafy green. And this is a rainbow Swiss Chard. You can see all these gorgeous color stems. Isn't that so pretty? So I'm going to go ahead and harvest some of this as well. Some of it will probably eat fresh, and then I'll be adding it in to just add some bulk to my what I'm already going to be canning. This is something else that the average person may not really be interested in trying it, because if you've never tasted it, but it's also really high in very important vitamins and minerals. All of your leafy greens being grown in the fall and eaten in the fall and winter and early spring are going to really give you an immune boost. They're going to have lots of iron and vitamin C and just all sorts of really, really great things that your body needs in the wintertime when you're getting less sunlight. Your leafy greens are going to supplement that, and so they're really important. You need to just consider growing them. Once again, they're so easy to grow. Like, you don't have to do anything to them, and they are ready to harvest in less than a month. Swiss chard, you can harvest it as like a baby Swiss chard, kind of like you would a baby spinach, or you can let it grow as big or as large as you want to. So once again, I'm harvesting the outer leaves and I'm leaving the inner for a second and third harvest. So I'm going to keep working on that. So over here behind these collard greens, and it may be hard for you to see what I'm doing, but I'll try to take you along. Okay, so I mean, I haven't even put a dent in my collard greens. I've got an entire bucket here full of greens. And if you can see behind me, I still have tons more that I could harvest from. I'm going to let those continue to grow because they are like a lot of other leafy greens. The inner part of the plant continues to grow and produce more leaves. So that is why I'm only harvesting the outer, more mature leaves, because the plant continues to sprout new little leaves from the most center part of the plant. I'll see if I can show that to you, okay? Okay, so I'm going to use this lettuce. This is a Paris Island lettuce, I believe, right here to show you what I mean, because this works with all leafy greens, okay? If I want to come make my salad, I would just pluck off these outermost out here pieces, and that is what we would eat for our salad today. But I would leave, if you look in here in the middle, I would leave these because I don't know if you can tell or not, but these are much smaller, and as you look in there, see there are even smaller new little leaves right here, right there. So the plant continues to produce new leaves right from this very center, and that is how all leafy greens basically work. Let's see here, what else could I show you? Well, I'll try to show this to you with our Swiss chard over here. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Okay, so here is a Swiss chard plant, pretty red one. Get this out of the way. And if you can tell here, if I'm going to harvest these outer ones. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but right there is a brand new little baby one. So I'm going to leave these little smaller baby ones right in the middle, and those will continue to grow and the plant will continue to live. If I harvest everything, we are going to chance losing the entire plant. So we only want to harvest the outer largest leaves. One other thing I did want to say, I'm almost done harvesting these, is that, you know, our garden is still going strong. It's a little messy because I haven't been coming out here often, but that's also kind of the beauty of the fall garden, is you can kind of just let it go as long as you're watering it and preventing any pests, especially on your brassicas, and it will just keep producing. Let's see, Saturday was actually our marginal first frost date according to the Farmer's Almanac and our local weather stations, and yesterday it was 80 degrees. This morning it is about 40 something, 50, I think it might have been like 47-ish. So it's just chilly enough. That's why I've got on my little thing, because I've actually had almost like an earache, and it's very damp. But so we don't even haven't had a frost yet, and that's always a chance that you take when growing a fall garden. You never are for sure what the weather's going to be like, but the weather has been gracious to us this year. I'm getting tomatoes and lots of peppers, and I'm actually going to use some peppers and onions in with this, and everything is just kind of chugging along good. I'm still picking okra. I have some cucumbers growing that are about ready to pick, and behind me I have lots of melon that is just taking over, and so we have some little melons that if the weather will hold out about another week, I'll be ready to harvest those. So you never know what the weather's going to do, so take a chance and push your limits with those frost dates. And there's a lot of things like these collard greens and turnip greens, they're going to hold up to a couple of light frosts anyway, so I'm going to just keep letting them grow. And my brassicas, they're going to be fine even after a frost or two. So for the most part, everything that's growing should be okay even after a few frosts. Yeah, so I've also got some peppers, and I want to check on my carrots. So I may do that at the end of this video, but right now I just want to show you how to pick these, and then we are going to can them up, and I'll do a quick video on that as well. That is what I have gotten in just the few minutes that I have been out here harvesting from, and it looks like a lot, but once I take the stems off and cut around the little few bug damaged leaves, it will it'll reduce itself a little bit. And you can actually still can the stems and everything as well. I just don't tend to can the bigger ones. I'll show you like some of the really big, the turnip greens aren't as bad, but these collard greens, they have a very thick, almost like celery-like-ish kind of stalk that is very stringy. Not really a huge fan of those if I don't have to. Worst case scenario, they're edible, but I'm not a huge fan of them. So I've harvested all of these this morning. I'm going to work on those today. They'll have to be washed several times, washed and rinsed over and over again. And then we'll get to work on these, and I will maybe show you really quick a few other things that I want to harvest really quick, and then I gotta get back inside so we can do schoolwork. Start our school day. And here is a bed of carrots that are getting really close to time to harvest. And we had corn growing in here, but I've already harvested the corn. Let's look down in here and see how our carrots are doing. Let's pull one and see if we're ready. Let's see here. So I can find a good one to pull from. Here we go. There we go. So, alright, so they're still growing, but I can use these smaller ones for, you know, like our salads and such right now. And I want to keep letting them grow for as long as possible until our first frost, and that way they'll get extra sweet. And they will still have some time to grow. I'm sure there's some that are bigger than that in here, but that's where they are right now. That seemed like that's probably the medium sized one that's in here. But I'll go ahead and take this one in and we'll slice it up in a salad later. Here is a pepper plant that has fallen over, and it has lots of Anaheim peppers. I use these to make my own sort of like rotel. So we probably need to come through here and harvest some more of these with the garden. Today's October 25th, I believe. The garden just keeps on producing, which is amazing. Go ahead and pull them, because with it getting colder, these peppers just aren't, they're not going to get as big. But I have almost always, I am still pulling peppers, especially banana peppers and green peppers. I'm still pulling peppers on Halloween. So I always leave my pepper plants in long after everything else from my summer garden is gone, because I know that's when I'm going to get my biggest harvest of peppers. And we live in region zone 7, I'm sorry. So if you live in a similar zone, don't give up on your peppers. Just let them hang out long after most of your other garden stuff is gone, and that is when you're actually really going to see. There is a nice size one. That's when you're going to see your best pepper harvest from a lot of your types of peppers. Okay guys, so I've got my little bucket of goodies here. Peppers, all of my greens. I'm going to take these in and start washing them up. That'll take a while just to process through these. And then I will be making a second video really quick, or I may just attach a video to this on how to can these guys up, okay? I encourage you guys to grow lots of different things. Step outside the tomato growing box and grow anything and everything that your zone will allow you to. Even if you think that you don't like it, chances are if you try it when it is fresh from the garden, just straight from the garden, that you are going to change your mind. And a little seasoning and a little extra flavor along with those things goes a long way. It's going to be extra good for you, and you are really going to increase your amount of personal food security by growing lots of different things in your garden. I hope you guys have a good day.